Hi, I'm Harry Campbell from Biofeedback Resources International, and I'm here with Dr. Jorge Palacios, and he's going to describe for us some information about a webinar series that he's working on that has to do with different ways of looking at biofeedback and neurofeedback related to consciousness. So I turn it over to you, Dr. Palacios. And so just let us know what this is all about.
Thank you very much, Harry. Well, yes, this is a new series of webinars, and we are going to talk about consciousness and biofeedback as a relation of processes between the way the brain integrates sensory information into consciousness. The idea of these webinars and the relation of this specific topic with biofeedback came during a long seminar, long diplomate that we were teaching last year. It became the moment when we have to talk about all the cognitive processes related to biofeedback, related to the learning aspects of the biofeedback and neurofeedback, and in general feedback processes. So it came a moment when consciousness has to be addressed. So we start thinking about the recent research related to this matter. You see, there are very specific sources that have came with strong information related to different areas of the brain related to different processes, but consciousness during many times remain a little bit obscure in relation to the zones and the lobes of the brain that are related to. So recent research came to the conclusion that one of the most important parts of the brain related to consciousness is precisely parietal lobe. And in this image, we can observe this specific type of relation. As we can see, all the afferent processes, all the sensory afferent processes came precisely to the parietal lobe from the different sensory inputs that the brain has: somatosensory, auditive, visual, motor, visceral, coming from thalamus. So today, neuroscientists are discussing how consciousness starts from the integrations of the sensory inputs, of the whole sensory inputs. Just think for a moment when you are in the morning waking up. What is the very first experience you have? Well, any kind of experience could be, but it is related to sensory inputs. It could be the light, it could be the sound, it could be the movement, your movement, or any other type of movement. It could be the auditive stimulation. So before you say, "Oh, I'm awake," you first start to integrate different type of sensory inputs. Now, what all these considerations have to be with biofeedback? Well, biofeedback is precisely about that, about being consciousness. Also be aware of the kind of sensory inputs you are receiving, the way you can modify your interaction with those inputs, but most important things, the way you can modify your whole psychophysiological response to different type of inputs, the way you can reconsider your sensory inputs, and the way your consciousness about certain sensory inputs can change from that specific experience. So it seems that if we start to think about consciousness from the very beginning of sensory integration, all these years, all these first 60 biofeedback years have been related with consciousness. The way we integrate our internal sensory input, the external sensory input, the way we conceptualize it, the way we organize our responses to those most important inputs to our brain, and also the way we learn to modify our responses to those inputs from the sensory sources. So in all these seminars, we are going to discuss how all these complex brain activity from the parietal cortex are related with biofeedback. How do we activate this specific part of the brain? How does this specific part of the brain relates to other parts of the brain? How do this part of the brain is related to learning? How learning is related to the way this part of the brain, parietal lobe, in the part of consciousness function, is integrating the functions into a new different kind of concepts and responses. So this is a very new different way of integration of biofeedback. This is a new area of research, a new research field that is becoming to be most in consideration of many neuroscientists, and also this is going to be a different way we have to learn biofeedback as practitioners. So we invite you to this series of webinars. There are going to be 4 series of webinars. We are going to start with this a specific study about the anatomy and functionality of the parietal lobe and its relation to other parts of the brain. We are going to talk about connectivity in the brain, the different areas of connectivity, discusses in terms of the connectome, the human connectome, and then we will relate this to learning and how learning through biofeedback is changing connectivity in the brain and its relations to parietal cortex and consciousness. So this is going to be about all this new field of work, and we will be glad if you are here with us in this webinar series?
Well, it sounds very interesting, and it's definitely a different way to look at biofeedback and neurofeedback. And I think it's good timing for us to learn this. So I'm looking forward to the series myself, and like you said, we invite everybody to join us. I'll be posting information about the dates and times and everything on the website, biofeedbackinternational.com, and join us.
See you
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you.